So, ladies, let's talk. Life is a classroom, and your parents were your first instructors. They trained you to be who and what you are right now. Many of us put too much emphasis on our parents, meaning they're supposed to be sitting on the top of this pyramid and they're almighty and they're our parents and this and that. No, 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 no. That's only if they're good people, and you really shouldn't put them at the top of the pyramid. God should be at the top of the pyramid. But if they were lousy parents, they taught you the patterns that you eventually did as a young child, as an older child, as a teenager, as an adult. Parents are only parents because they conceived a child. That's the only qualification to be a parent. You could be a dumbass, you could be abusive, you could be a crackhead, you could be a bank robber, you could be a murderer, you could be any of those things but still be a parent, which just required two people to raise their eyebrows at each other. Hey, how you doing? And then next thing you know, a kid is conceived. All right, it's the only qualifications for being a parent, so let's not make them more powerful than they are. All right, if ladies in particular, if your father was an abusive monster and or a narcissist and or emotionally unavailable, you end up with people just like him. You end up with people just like him, and you end up in this people pleasing mode. And most men are narcissists. Some of it is biological, why they're narcissists, because narcissism does run in families. But they like to do the hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold with you, because it's all part of the manipulation. Guys will do hot, cold, hot, cold. And because you grew up with a father who's dysfunctional, for those who did, your father did the same thing. He'd be warm and then distant, warm, cold, warm, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So you automatically are drawn to individuals who do that. And you go in people pleasing mode because as a child, coming from dysfunctional parents, you learn how to, you have on the job training, so to speak, of how to be a people pleaser. And if I do this, maybe they'll love me. If I hug them, maybe they'll love me. If I clean my room and make it extra clean every day, maybe they'll love me. And so you learn people pleasing, and you learn to draw to people who do not draw to you. And you gravitate and graduate towards people when you start dating who are hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And anybody who is hot, cold with you is inconsistent. Anybody who is inconsistent is a red flag. Do not be a collector of red flags. You know how people collect things for a hobby? Well, don't be a collector of red flags as a hobby. You don't want that. You don't want to do that. Extricate yourself in the beginning. You're in people pleasing mode, and when he pulls away, because that's what toxic mofos do, they pull away from you, and then you go closer to them because it feels like abandonment. That abandonment is playing the same movie that you saw, that you were the star of as a kid. The abandonment. You're so familiar with that. And subconsciously, when someone pulls away, you go closer to them, which makes them pull away even more. And then as a teaser, they will out of nowhere start being warm to you again. And the game continues. Here's another thing. If you had a drill sergeant as a father, his idea, I'm talking about my own, his idea of being a father was smacking down rules and regulations and beating you with a belt. That's what he thinks a good father does. I'm a drill sergeant. I'm going to crack orders. I'm going to tell you what you going to do and what you not going to do. I'll beat you with the belt because I get off on inflicting agony on you. You learned from when you were a child to not defend yourself against a man. You learned to be quiet. You learned how to not defend yourself. You learned how to allow this man to beat you, to treat you like absolute shit, to talk to you any kind of way, because your childhood is playing itself out again. You were intimidated by your father, and he taught you that you are to lower yourself when you're dealing with a man. He taught you, if he beat you up, he taught you that men are supposed to beat you up and you're supposed to accept it. So you let this man beat you up. You let him treat you like shit. You let him call you a bitch, a whore, and a slut. You let him pull a weapon on you. Oh, we're going there today. Because you learn from a young age that men are intimidating and men are your rulers. So when you deal with men as an adult, you're dating your father all over again. And your self-esteem is non-existent. For someone who grew up with a loving father, we're going to get raw today. For somebody who grew up with a loving father and he taught his daughter, you don't let no man treat you like shit. And they will try you. And they will see what they can get away with. And they will push the envelope over and over and over again just to see where the boundaries are. That's the nature of an adult. Adults are children. They're just taller. They do the same childish shit. They push until you go off. Okay? Now, with a girl who grew up with a loving father who taught her, don't let men use you for sex. Don't let them stare at your body parts like you a hoe standing on a corner. Do not let them disrespect you and talk to you and call you all out of your name. You don't ever put up with that shit from a man, ever. So the first time she grows up strong and she grows up with self-esteem and she grows up feeling powerful, so her dad treats her like a princess, and I don't mean in a narcissistic way, but treats her well and teaches her, these are the loving boundaries that I'm surrounding you with, and you don't let nobody bust through those boundaries to treat you like garbage. You don't tolerate that off of nobody. So the first time she grows up with solid self-esteem and she knows what love is, and she doesn't want to settle for anything less than what she grew up with. Your parents are your first teachers. They set you up for failure or success. Although we can circumvent that once we realize what's going on, okay, through therapy or whatever. So the girl with high self-esteem, or the young adult with high self-esteem, the first time a guy shows his ass, she's going to address him. I remember telling you guys about a lady that was talking on I don't know if it's TikTok or YouTube, but people will post TikTok on YouTube, which is cool because I'm not on TikTok. But anyway, she said that they've been friends for many years. They finally went out on a date, and he was late, an hour late. She addressed him then. She didn't let him slide and start collecting red flags. She addressed him then. But because he's nuts, he went off on her for going off on him. She didn't even go off on him. She said, if you're going to be late, we're going to have to reschedule in the future because, my time is valuable, and I don't want to, I don't want to have my schedule, I don't want to wait for an hour. It's just a lot. And he went berserk on her. She didn't scream. She didn't yell. She didn't cuss him out. She didn't do any of that. And he went off on her. And she flung herself out of the car while the car was driving down the road to get the hell away from him. And she never saw him again. You know why? Because she's not going to tolerate that ever again. She's not going to tolerate that, period. And she's smacked down some rules today, right now. We can't do this in the future. If you're going to be late, we're going to have to reschedule. That's what you do when you have strong, solid boundaries. Your time is valuable. You are valuable. And if somebody can't see that, and we're not talking extenuating circumstances. There was a semi-truck and a car, and they're sprawled across the highway, and you can't get through, and a fatality, and all. There's 25 cars that are waiting, 100 cars are now waiting. That's totally different, obviously. Common sense, people, right? That's obvious that you're going to be late. There's no detour. You can't change. You go to another exit because everything is blocked, okay? We understand that. But that wasn't his case. He was just late because he was late. And that's unacceptable. All right. This is also what toxic guys do on purpose, because I'm going to let you know this is how I operate right out the gate. And if you tolerate my stupidness, I know I could get worse. You just gave me the green light to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And it will. If your father was a drill sergeant, he taught you from a young age, you don't yell at men. You are to be subservient to them, obedient to them. A soggy marshmallow when it comes to men. You let them do whatever they want because your father did it to you, so you learned from a young age that this is how things are supposed to go. But that's where you have to go into therapy, and that's where you have to learn how to build your self-esteem. That's when you have to learn to write down what are deal breakers. Being late for no reason is a deal breaker. For some people, smoking is a deal breaker. I don't want to have secondhand smoke. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to hold your hand while you're dying of lung cancer because you decided to start smoking. I don't want to be around that. Smoking is a deal breaker. Or alcohol. And addiction of any sort should be a deal breaker. Alcohol, drugs, you can't save this person. Gambling, whatever it is that they're addicted to, you cannot save them and give them enough love that they break their own addiction. Stop this. You're asking for problems. They can't even take care of themselves. How are they going to take care of you? Come on. Okay, so you make a list. No disrespect, no yelling at you, no calling you out of your name. They have to validate you as a person. When you have concerns, they should be concerned about your concerns. If they are not, that's a red flag. Once you make the connection between how your father taught you, this is how you act with men, because I'm going to intimidate you and beat you and do everything else. And when other men do it, you're supposed to roll over and play dead. Let them do it because you're a piece of shit anyway. Your father may or may not even said that, but his behavior made it loud and clear that you ain't shit. So you let men treat you the way they want to treat you. And some of the laws are asinine too. There's a law, I think, down south where, how does it go? Go to the courthouse if your husband something, I don't remember, but the day that the law states the court's not in session that day. I can't remember. It's asinine. It's a very antiquated law. I can't remember how it goes, but you learn to settle for domestic violence because you grew up with domestic violence. So you got on the job training. This is how men treat women. And until you break the cycle, you will continue the cycle. Now, for the last manipulation ship, did I put up with his shit for too long? It was a few months, and it was a few months too damn long. A few months too long. I had to take care of me. I was single with him. If I'm going to be in a so-called relationship, which was a manipulationship, but if I'm supposedly with that person and they have no concern for my well-being, I'm out. I had surgery. You think that little son of a bitch would contact me to see how I'm feeling? Hell no. He's too busy playing with his prissy hair in the mirror. He ain't got time for all that. It's all about him and his little gay self. It's all about him. Him, his needs, him, and some more him. So once you know that, person cannot call or cannot send a text or any of that. Can't do any of that. Because I'm too busy worried about my narcissistic bitch ass. You dump them. I made mistakes during that manipulationship. I corrected them. But I kicked myself that I didn't do it a lot sooner than I did. Because, I mean, when you have a surgical procedure and the person doesn't even text, everybody got their fucking face in their phone. If you don't have the decency to text the person or call them, you're a bastard or a bitch. And nobody should ever love you because you're not worthy. You're too busy loving yourself. So, let's talk about guys. Guys can be in the same boat. Guys can also learn to be intimidated by women. If their mother is a narcissistic, toxic drill sergeant, he will be drawn to women who are toxic and strong-willed, and this is what we gonna do and what we not gonna do. She thinks she's the ruler. He will be drawn to women like that. And there's a difference between being drawn to someone who has a strong personality and being drawn to someone who tries to be your boss. They want to smack rules down. Okay? So if you have you noticed a consistent pattern with you dating people that are just like one of your parents, it's time to break that cycle. So when you see, and you can jot those down, bossy, dictator, someone trying to be a dictator, could be a man or a woman, it makes no difference. Screaming, yelling, breaking things when they don't get their way, pouting, stonewalling. Some people are not as dramatic as breaking things, but they will stop speaking to you. Anybody who does that needs to be fired today, right now. Because a loving person would never do that. A loving person would never put you in that situation. A loving person would never have you have surgery and shrug their shoulders like, oh, well, whatever. But then his wife killed himself behind him, and he didn't care about that either. So why would he care that I had surgery? Okay. He was with his wife for 20 years. She ended herself, and he doesn't give a flying rat's ass. So why would he give two shits that I had surgery? He's a son of a bitch. And if he died today, that would be great. No one would miss him. Because he's a tornado. Destructive tornado. Okay. Anyway, so your parents definitely set you up for possible failure with future people, and you don't have boundaries, and the boundaries that you do have are flexible, and they shouldn't be flexible. This is what I don't want. This is what I'm not going to do. And even something as simple as you're with this person and you go out with other friends, all of you, and then you find out your friends are going to do something fun and you want to do it too, and the individual that you're with is like, I don't want to do that because I'm tired. They're not tired. They're not tired. Because if you were going to lay them now, all of a sudden they'd find energy. So bullshit and triple layers of bullshit. So what you have to do is, that seems to be small and subtle, but it isn't. Your friends are doing something. How is that going to destroy that person's life to say, well, yeah, we could do that. I don't know if I'd want to do it until late tonight, but yeah, we could do that. The person that you're with should be happy to do what you want to do. If they don't want to hang with your other friends and they got silly ass, stupid ass excuses, that's a red flag. And they're always conveniently tired when it suits them. All of a sudden they pull the tired card. When in reality, it's because they don't want to do it because you want to do it. If they're a toxic person, they don't want to do it. They don't want to compromise. Compromise is not in a toxic person's vocabulary. It's not even in their vocabulary. We're not going to do it for a couple hours. We're not doing it at all. And if I had my vehicle, if we all took our separate cars, I would have went with my friends. And I should have. And I should have rode with him, actually, my other friend. I should have rode with him and said, well, I'll tell you what, to the little cocksucker, I should have said, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to hang with them. So I guess I'll catch you later. That's what I should have done. And dumped him. Not long after that, I should have dumped him. You look at people's horrible behavior and you look how toxic so many people are, women included. It's not a gender thing, it's a person thing. I've said that 1,000 times. I need a freaking $20 bill for every time I said that on my channel. I'll be sitting pretty right now. Anyway, write down what is not going to happen. If somebody doesn't want to do something small that you want to do because they're tired, consider dumping them. You can sleep all day and all night and every day for the rest of your life if you want to, because you're so goddamn tired and I don't want to interrupt your sleep. So you go ahead and do what you got to do, and I'm going to go do what the fuck I want to do. Narcissists come up with endless, do you understand what I'm saying to you? Endless excuses why they can't do what you want to do, when in reality they're an asshole, and that is how they operate. They're selfish, selfish, selfish. They are the types of people that, if you remember, I want to say the Titanic, women and children got to get off the ship. Let's see, they got rescued first or something, or got to be in the boats first, the little, whatever it was, the little, I don't know what they're called. They're like emergency boats, whatever. People snatched other people's kids and acted like it was their own so they could be rescued. I mean, wow. It's just a wake-up call. So anything, if you're seeing someone and they always try you, I want you to start writing things down. Things that make you go, huh. Because to you it might be small, but when you look at it in retrospect, you will notice, if you're still with this fool, you will notice that there is a pattern of them doing this stupid shit. And that means you are irrelevant. You are irrelevant. If you're irrelevant, why are you with this person? If you're the only one who champions for your cause, you're the only one who has your back, what is this person in your life for? Are they a decoration on a tree? Because that's all. I mean, you know, why are they in your life? They don't have your back. They will let you swim with sharks, and they'll just be like, oh, that's messed up, and they'll sit there and casually eat a sandwich while sharks are, you know, swimming around you. They'll just sit and watch because they're stupid and evil and selfish. So we definitely have to know when to cut people off, and the first date is a perfect time. It's a perfect time to cut someone off. Nagging, making snarky ass comments. You are supposed to impress the person, especially guys. That's the old school way. You impress her. You do what you can to make her go, oh, you know what? When she walks away from you or drives away from you, whatever the case is, she should have a smile on her face. She should not have her feelings hurt because you were an asshole and you were disrespectful and negging her. Making snotty little comments on their first date. Dump them. Dump them. Your parents have a direct correlation between how you were as a child and how you are as an adult. And if you're passive towards men and you don't stand up for yourself and you let them treat you like shit, I want you to take some martial arts classes. Consider that. Not so you could beat his ass, although you may have to one day. If he puts his hands on you, you may have to do what you got to do. Better yet, get away from him. But you need to take some type of classes that will help you build your confidence and protect yourself at the same time. The first time they come out the side of their face saying something snarky, that is it. It's over. I'm cutting you loose. Because it only gets worse from here. Your father may have taught you that men are your ruler. Your father may have taught you that men are supposed to dominate women. Because that's what he did to you when you were a little baby and a little girl, teenager. And now you're an adult and you follow the same patterns without realizing it. You chase after people that never want you because your dad never wanted you. And listen. Come close. Come close to me. It's not your fault that your parents hate you. It's their fault. They're sick. They're mentally ill. You don't have the power to make somebody mentally ill. You weren't even conceived yet. It's not your fault. You can't be responsible for what you didn't do. You didn't make your parents hate you. They hate everything. They hate themselves. People that love themselves, and I don't mean in a narcissistic way, but they love themselves to the point where they would protect themselves if they're in harm's way, even with their partner. You learned how to just, you were hated and you were taught how to be submissive. And allow men they have a long rope. They could just go and go and go and go and abuse you any kind of way in all kinds of ways because that's what you grew up with. Well, you didn't have any control over that as a kid, but you have control over that as an adult. I want you to also consider getting a calendar, or you can purchase these things that are sayings. Like they're all cards and they all have positive sayings or positive scriptures on them. And you could get that and change the card out every day so that you've got something positive to tell yourself. And I'm going to tell you something else. In my house, you will see positive affirmations. Like, I can't think of them right now. And I'm right in the middle of doing what I'm doing. I'm busy doing chores today. But you'll see positive affirmations, because when you're with a negative ass, stupid ass, toxic ass person, they thrive off of negativity. They thrive off of saying negative things to you. So you have to combat, especially when you get rid of them, which hopefully you get rid of them on the first date. You got to love yourself. No one will protect you like you will. I mean, God could talk some sense into you, but you could always, people are so twisted in the head, they convince themselves that this evil ass person, God wants me to be with this person. No. Not if that person is bad. He does not want you to be with someone who's bad for you. That's you convincing yourself that, oh, everything clicks so well with us and this is in the cards. This must be what I'm destined to have. God wants me to have this. No, he doesn't. No, I don't know where you got that from wrong. No. If that person is mean to you, God doesn't want you with them. You're his child. And when you hurt, he hurts. Once you make the correlation between your childhood and now, and why you chase after people that don't want you, and why you chase after bad relationships, and you stay in them for month after month after month, you marry this person and you have kids with them, and now you've just made your life worse and worse and worse, when you had the power and the ability to get rid of their ass from Jump Street. The first time they came out the side of their face. Oh, I didn't know you were that short, or I didn't know you were that big. That dress is kind of tight, don't you think? You don't even have to say a word. You can just get up, get your things, and walk away. And you don't owe them any explanation. Silence is loud. Silence is loud, baby. You are the boss. the president, the vice president, the CFO, and the CEO of your life. It's time for you to start acting like it. Let these mofos know you ain't having it. Love you guys. Take care. Mwah. Bye-bye.